That's
There you go.
okay. Here we go. Hi, everybody. It's so wonderful to see some new and old faces here. Transformational Tuesday on May 13th, 2025. My name is Kirsten Evenson, and I'm a senior sales coordinator with the Juice Plus Company. And I'm just really excited to be continuing to um, just find people who bring us inspiration and messages that take us deeper than just doing a business, because we know this is a business cleverly no, it's a personal development journey cleverly disguised as a business. And so I just love featuring and bringing the wisdom on our teams to this call. So tonight is no exception. Kerrie Davis Howell was one of my first mentors when I joined this company about 10 years ago, I think now. Kerrie was just so
Mhm.
generous and took me under her wing and helped me do my first party. I was terrified and I said, Kerrie, I'll let you come do my party as long as you don't try to sell Juice Plus. Do you remember that, Kerrie?
Yes.
And Kerrie said, hon, you're doing all this work. We should probably mention Juice Plus. And I got 12 customers and my first two partners out of out of that out of that party. So Kerrie, I haven't mentioned that in a while, but that's just
Mhm.
you were so generous and I just love you. So I'm going to introduce Kerrie, read her bio here, and then let her tell her amazing story and then share some wisdom with us about the miracle morning. So Kerrie was a single mom in the past. She was too busy climbing that corporate career ladder in credits and collections to focus on her own health. She was discouraged, stressed out, burned out, in pain, and her health was in jeopardy when she was introduced to a healthier lifestyle by a holistic chiropractor. So in 2011, the perfect storm was created that launched her Juice Plus business. So she was tired of the long hours, expectations, and the host of health issues left from her corporate job. And she left corporate America in 2012, 2011. She took
Mhm.
that leap of faith to start her Juice Plus business and wellness journey, and she's never looked back. And it's, if any of you know Kerrie, you just know her passion, her love for people, and it just shows in everything she does. So she has helped hundreds of people regain their health with small, simple changes and more income options. And it's allowed her to to have left the corporate world. In 2019, she married her husband, Larry, that we all adore, and talk about a transformation. Kerrie will talk about her health transformation, but any of you who knew Larry when he came to us, holy smokes, he has just also transformed. So collectively, they have three children, four grandchildren. They love traveling and living a life of choice. They purchased a home in Casa Grande, Arizona, and their passion is to serve others. So Kerrie and Larry are actively involved in mission work with their church, a local ministry serving the needs of American Indians at a local reservation, oversees church ministries, and her husband is still painting homes at 77 years young. He's amazing. She believes that God created our bodies miraculously, and He also gave us the food to nourish them. So she's never been more confident that lifestyle is a game changer. And with that, Kerrie, I'm going to let you take it away. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you. Well, most of you know my story, but when I was introduced to Juice Plus, I was desperate. I was in my 50s. I was not at a healthy weight by any means. I was on medication I did not want to be on, pretty much daily pain. I had fallen off a ladder and had a pretty severe back injury, and there was just so many things that were coming together that was not good. My health was declining, and this chiropractor said to me, "I think we can turn this ship around." And for the first time, he started talking to me about nutrition, and I thought I was eating healthy, but I wasn't. So I jumped on board, not just with the capsules, but making lifestyle changes and really getting back to, God created incredible food for us to eat. And it's a lifestyle. It's so much like the reset. And in that course of making those lifestyle changes and staying on G Plus, I was able to lose pretty much about 100 pounds, and I got off of all my medications. And for the first time, I was starting to move better. I was back in the gym. Things were completely different. I can't remember the last time I was really sick. And that's been 15 years. But here's the after story. This is the one I'm excited about. I just established with a cardiologist, and I was fighting some heart issues. And he looked at everything. He looked at all my tests. He said, "Well," he said, "if all my patients did everything that you have done, I would be out of business. And yet, here you are fighting this." But he said, "I want to give you something to just rejoice about, and that is if you had not done all those things, changed my lifestyle, changed my nutrition," he said, "you probably would have had a heart attack at age 60, and a major one." So he said, "You got to pat yourself on the back for the things that you did." So we think sometimes like it doesn't make any difference, but I'm telling you it does. Because sometimes we fight genetics, but if you're living the lifestyle, which is, I go back to that reset or the shred, what we've known as the shred, I do it every single month, and it is a game changer. So I'm super excited about that. So I'm going to share my screen. You have your hand up. Oh, yeah, I see it. Okay.
It
So
was
I'm
just clapping. It was
Oh
the
yeah,
reaction clapping. I'm just so excited for that news, Kerrie. Yeah.
I know. I'm super excited. And my husband pretty much has had the same kind of results, and I'm super excited about what's happening with him. So that's good. So I'm going to click on here. We're going to talk about one of the game changers that I love. And when we talk about lifestyle, it's not just about taking some capsules in the morning. It really is about how do we live our life? And how do we live it in a way that honors our body and our mental, our spiritual, our physical well-being? And that's why I get really excited about the Miracle Morning. I've been doing it, I'm going to say at least 12 years, at least 12 years. And so we're going to talk real briefly about some simple steps that you can take and try to get incorporated so it's like just part of what you do every morning. And then we'll open it up for questions. Um, Somebody said to me years ago, if you win the morning, you win the day. And I forgot who had said that, but it made so much sense to me because we have so much incoming. We're busy. We're busy moms. We're busy entrepreneurs. We're busy with jobs. There's just so much coming at us. And so being able to take some time in the morning for yourself is super important to set up your day for a win. And we'll talk a little bit more about these, but the healthy breakfast part is start off your day with that. Like when I have my shake and I have some things that go with it, I just feel like I'm fueling my body at such a great level. And it just helps me to get grounded into the day when I take some time to eat really and be mindful when we're eating, like not rush through it, like a lot of us do, like taking your time. And they talk a little bit about task planning. I do that typically on Sundays for the week, but every night I go over like, what do I have the following day? Who do I need to call? Do I have appointments? Do I have conversations that I want to have that might be a little challenging? Do I have an event that I need to go to? Really getting in touch with what you have the following day is super important. You can do it in the morning, but I think once you do it at night, it's kind of sealed, it's set in. And then just enjoying some little small morning victories. And that's what we're going to talk about right now is the little victories that you can have. So starting off your day, like your first one, this is by Hal Elrod. It's called the Miracle Morning, and it has an acronym. It's called SAVERS. It's silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing, which is writing. basically. But your first one is like, let's start your day off in peace. I mean, it just sets the tone for your day. It just helps you to clear your mind and really find that inner place. So find when you're doing this, find a peaceful place to sit in and and be mindful of the time you're going to spend. There's no set time. You could be 3 minutes in this, you could be 5 minutes, you could take longer. It's up to you. But just get comfortable, focus on your breath. We tend to shallow breathe, so being able to breathe in deep and out kind of releases a lot of tension or maybe busyness from the morning. And this could be prayer, it could be guided meditation, it could be mindfulness, it could be just some deep breathing exercises, or just some reflective silence. Like, how often do we just sit in silence and just soak it in? Um, it's really important for us to get into that technique. And a lot of people say, well, I can't meditate. This, it's really not about having no thoughts in your brain, because you're going to have thoughts, but when thoughts come in, you just push them away and you just sit and get back into that silence. And maybe there's some soft music you want to play. That's okay too. But get into that real silent place. I spend time in the morning in prayer. It's something that is a non-negotiable with me. And I take a few minutes of my time to just sit in silence and not do anything. So that's one of the first things, is start your day off in this peaceful grounding, this spiritual grounding, and it will help you. The second one is affirmations. Now, a lot of us on this call have done affirmations for a lot of years. And affirmations really are just positive statements. There's a way to write them out, but they're they're statements that you repeat to yourself so that it becomes ingrained. And again, it's one of those things that you want to be in this peaceful place, be mindful of how much time you want to spend on them. Maybe you only have one or two, maybe you have five. And I like to read them in silence and then read them out loud. There's something about reading an affirmation out loud that comes to your hearing. And once you get it in your hearing, it gets embedded in your mind. And so there's something that really speaks to that. And so some of the affirmations could be on business building. It could be, I have three vibrant new partners. It could be something like that. It could be health and wellness. It could be, you know, I am healthy and vibrant at all times, or I have more energy than I've ever felt. You need to get those affirmations to where they're positive. Personal growth, finances. If you get a little stressed or anxious, one of them that I used to say is, I am more relaxed, I am more productive. But sometimes when we get anxious, we're not productive. So being able to still your mind in that affirmation is super important. There was another one that I used to use all the times, and it says, I have a magnetic draw for quality people towards me. It's another one. So think about positive statements. And if you need help with affirmations, if you go to your sponsor, they'll be able to help you with it. But what it does is it increases your confidence, and it starts to embed it in our subconscious. So it's the same thing as if when we're trying to get to a healthier weight, or if we're trying to play a better pickleball game or whatever that is, getting it embedded in your mind is super important. And so over time, they will start to transform your mindset and your behaviors begin to change because you begin to build this belief in your abilities. Okay. So the third one, this is one of the most important ones. I feel like out of all five, or six, this one really holds a very special place for me. It's visualizing your success. So again, being in that quiet place, figure out how long And believe me, 1 or 2 minutes or 3 minutes can seem like a long time when you're visualizing, but it's spending time um, visualizing your day. So the night before, I identify what I want to be successful in. Maybe it's a conversation, maybe it's an outcome, maybe it's inviting to a party, maybe it's whatever that is for you. But find this peaceful place again, breathe deeply, and we want you to visualize with detail. So construct, like if you're in the middle, you have a tough conversation, visualize the outcome that you want. And how does that feel to you? Like when it comes out to be a positive outcome, or you have 10 people arrive at your party, visualize what that might feel like, how it looks, how it sounds, um, and even hearing the sounds of what you're visualizing. So visualize it with detail and imagine yourself succeeding with the phone call, succeeding with that party, succeeding with whatever that task is that was before you, and practice it daily. And so that could be, it could look like business conversations or personal achievements. It could be our health. It could be public speaking or financial goals or relationship goals. So when you regularly visualize, you increase your chances of success because it keeps you focused and mentally prepared for everything that you need to do to go forward with it. So visualization is super important. So all I can tell you is I would encourage everyone to start that, even if it's a minute long. It's life changing. It is completely life changing. So the next one is morning exercise. And I know a lot of people, because they're trying to get out the door, they say, well, I can't do an exercise program early in the morning, and I totally get it. But maybe you're stretching or you're doing balance work while you're putting your makeup on or you're doing whatever. There's ways to fit it in, and you can do the class or maybe a more concentrated form of exercise later in the day if that works best for you. But being able to do something in the morning, it's proven that it can raise your energy level. And I remember going to a Brendan Bouchard conference one time, and he had us doing squats for about, I don't know, there must have been like 20 squats we were doing. But he was talking about how important doing that, just as you're standing by your desk or whatever, because it starts to build your energy. Just doing 15 or 20 squats. And it starts to increase your testosterone. It starts to increase your energy. So there's little things that we can do without, because a lot of times when we talk about exercise, people are like, no. But when we say walk, that doesn't mean 12 miles. It could be walk around the block, or it could be walk down the driveway and back, or whatever. It doesn't have to be this intense period of time for you. In fact, they say 15 minutes. 15 minutes is good every single day. Start getting in. And that could be stretching, it could be yoga, it could be Pilates, it could be walking, it could be strength training. So it's just a variety. And it really does help us. And that's one of the things that a practitioner told me, is that it has to stay in balance, to get some sort of movement in every single day for your health. So just know that if you do it in the morning, it will kickstart your metabolism, which helps us when we're eating and when we're trying to get to a healthier weight. It will help us. So just think about it as if you can spend 15 minutes in the morning would be super good. Okay, number 5. This is reading. Now, I I have several books. I always read out of my Bible, but I always have a book nearby too. Reading is one of those things you can get so inspired or motivated by what you're reading. And I know there's a group of us that are reading a good book right now. It's called Let Them by Mel Robbins. There's such great motivational books, and you can choose whether some people like it digitally, some people like it, with a physical book. Some people just want to be into something that's creative, you know? So whatever your genre is, whether it's mystery or whether it's motivational or something that's inspirational, it really, well, you will find little nuggets. I have a whole entire book of just little one-liners that I've gotten from books that are just amazing. And you just pick them up like, highlight your book, like I got to remember that and highlight it. But what it does, if you spend just like 10 minutes, pretty soon you've read a whole book and then you're on to the next one. It's surprising how much you can get done in just a few minutes of time. So our last one is journaling. And journaling is, they call it scribing, but really it's about writing. It's the power of writing. And a lot of us, when we think about journaling, we think about gratitude journals. And this is something too that you can do digitally or you can get a journal. I'm a journal girl. I love journals. I just love how they look and how they feel. Like same way about my books. But set how much time you want to do it for the day. And again, think about what you've gone through. So I do it at the very last, like you've visualized, you've been in silence, you've listened to, something that's inspirational to you. You've had all of this kind of incoming, be able to journal some of that. And Mitra Ray, Dr. Mitra Ray, at one of her conferences said, we spend a lot of time on gratitude, especially in the morning, but at night, do we ever spend time writing down what we accomplished? To say, wow, I got this much done, even if it wasn't on your list, and we don't do that a lot. We don't, at the end of the day, pat ourselves and say, good job. And I think it's super important for us at the end of the day, say, you know what? I did get a lot accomplished. I may not have gotten A, B, or C done, but I got the rest of it done and some extra. So really being able to write down or journal, she gave us little books to journal like an accomplishment at the end of the day. It feels so good. And it's lessons that we've learned throughout the day. Maybe it's, something that God spoke to you about, or you problem solve through something. But being able at the end of the day to say, good job, that is super important. So those are the 6 steps. And so mine looks pretty much like that every single morning. And sometimes I spend longer in visualization, depending on my day. Sometimes I'll stay longer in prayer. So it's not set in stone. This is meant for you to start off a little bit and then grow into it and decide for yourself what you need the most of. But I will tell you, if you start making it a habit, which we know starts in little increments, it will change your life because your day will be grounded and focused and you'll be peaceful instead of frantic and chaos and hectic. And if you find yourself in that place in the middle of the day, stop. Just breathe and go back into a little silence and visualization and just do a little check off. So, Kirsten, I was going to save some time to open it up for questions. Oh, and let me stop the share.
Absolutely. I would love anybody to just unmute yourself if you've got, I mean, Kerrie really is the master. Imagine having habits like this for 12 years. Whoopsies. That's a kitty cat coming coming across the screen. Um, yeah, I mean, she really has so much wisdom to share. So please, if anybody has questions or comments, just jump in.
Hey, Kirsten, I have to chime in. This is Heidi Biggs. I just have to chime in that the Miracle Morning for me has just been paramount to the success that I've had, not only in my life, but also in the Juice Plus community and the business. And I still do my affirmations twice a day as a minimum, most often, sometimes 4 times a day. And I can't disclose what's happening in my life right now, but there's some really, really big life stuff happening in my life. And I honestly want to contribute a lot of it, not only to my husband and his desires and our manifestation that we do, and that comes from affirmations. You know, when
Mhm.
you think about what you want in your life and then you do those affirmations to really solidify in your life what you really, really want, and you hold that vision, just like Nikki said in her message above, how you really like hold on to that vision as you are thinking about what it is you desire in your life. And it doesn't have to be just for yourself, it can be for others as well. It's
Mhm.
happening in our life right now. And I'm so grateful. So I
Yeah.
appreciate you sharing, Kerrie. Thank you.
Mhm. No, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Heidi. Who else?
This is Donna. Oops, I can do my video. Sorry.
Hi, Donna.
One of the
Yeah, go
things that
ahead.
I find, I do some of these things and it's like, okay, so you're telling me that affirmations are really, really that important. But the other thing is the journaling. Um, it- I was reading what you said it could do. Uh,
Mm.
do you actually find that by recording those breakthroughs, and it's not necessarily business breakthroughs, just breakthroughs in
Mhm.
your own life, right?
Mhm.
Oh, I have to learn how to be, react and or stop reacting and act and say this or say that. Do you go back to it to look at it a lot? Is that
I do. I have so many journals. And I think what's good is sometimes we'll go, oh, yeah, that's so good. I just realized I'm doing this, or I realized I could do it that way. But when you write it down, there's something about when you write it, it's like the hearing process. When you say things out loud, you hear it and it embeds. It's the same thing with our writing. Um, when you're writing it out, it's like it just gets embedded in your mind a lot easier. And you can go back because how many times have we thought about something and then and then you go back like a day or two later and you go, man, I wished I would have wrote that down. I forgot. It was so good. Now I can't remember it.
I can't remember.
Right? Yeah.
Do you do it every single day, or is it just make sure you start making it a regular practice?
Well, it's up to you, but I do it every single day. Yeah. I always have my journal out. And sometimes it's just in a matter of, even with relationships or conversations with people like, okay, this is what happened, and I could have done this better by like because I'm feeling it and I write it down. Or I hear something or see something in a book and I'm like, man, that's good. Or I hear somebody on a podcast like, oh wow. I need to remember that. And I write it down. So I always keep it just kind of open on my desk or open in my prayer room. I have a prayer room, so I keep a journal in there as well. And it just is so good. You can go back and go, wow, that's pretty awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and Heidi commented that there's actually science behind it. So that's like,
Mhm.
okay, I should
Yeah,
definitely work on that one. Thank you.
right. You're welcome.
Thanks for the question, Donna. Who else? Any questions or comments for Kerrie? I've got a couple questions, but I'm going to wait till the end. So,
I just have a really quick comment. I have gone off and on of doing that protocol. I just call it my protocol in the morning.
Mm,
But since January, I've consistently really consistently done it every day. And it does make a difference the way my day goes. When I get it done and it's like 9:30 in the morning and I already think, oh my gosh, I got all of this that's really important to me. It's not like it's busy work. It's not like I did my
right.
work or it's all about taking care of me. I definitely puts a smile on my face. And what a great way to
Yeah.
start your smile on your face, right? It really does make a difference.
Well, and I think too, Nikki, what you brought out is like not only does it get you in that peaceful, just joyful place, but then it comes across on your conversations or your phone when you're talking with people,
Yeah.
because that's your space, that's your being right there.
Yep. And there is something for those of you that are listening called mirror neurons. And people pick up the energy. It's another scientific fact. It's called mirror neurons that people mirror you in terms of your energy. And it's not just what you say clearly, it's the energy that you're coming forth with when you say it that affects people. So, yeah, I'm really loving that I'm doing that every day.
No,
Well,
super
that's
good.
actually a really good segue into the question I was going to have for you, Kerrie. I have also been like very start and stop with my Miracle Morning stuff. I know absolutely how powerful it is when I do it. I have never been a morning girl. I am one of those girls that literally, like, I never wore makeup or did my hair in the mornings because it meant I got to sleep an extra half hour, and I'm still that way. Like, I find myself waking up every single morning just relishing in quiet, in silence, in not moving my body until the last minute. And I just wonder if you have any tips for just getting over that hurdle. Like, do you have any hacks that just help you just launch and do it? And I know after 12 years, your habit's well established, but when you first started, did you have any
Well,
tips?
yeah, and you might want to just start tiptoe your way into it. But one of the things that would do is get an affirmation about waking up early in the morning and do it at night.
There
You
you
know,
go.
be
Yep.
able to go over that and just say, I feel so energetic in the mornings, or whatever you're going to come up with as an affirmation. But being able to say that and then have that card with you, really just have that cemented in, and then just start waking up, and or maybe setting your alarm for 10 minutes early and get up, and then spend, maybe you only do the at first maybe you only do the silence prayer part or meditation with some visualization. Start easing your way into it and choose how much time, because some people only spend like a minute on each one. If you think, like, if you spend just a few minutes on the exercise, even stretching, I've
Hmm.
stretched while I have been in silence. I've made it part of it, like a
Yeah.
yoga thing. And so that's one of the things that you could do, and just try it that way. I think Heidi was trying to, yeah, go ahead, Heidi.
Yeah, I just know something that's worked for me is the things that I'm most resistant to is the thing I need to lean into.
Hmm.
So those things that my body is saying, it's the thing I need to do the most.
Hmm.
And so getting into action is the only thing that will really kind of get me over that path of resistance to what is really going to propel me forward in my life.
Hmm.
I like that. Thank you. And I think, Kerrie, for me, hearing you talk about such small increments, I mean, I'll be honest, when I look at a list as long as, all the bullet points and I wrote them all
Right.
down, I'm like, oh my God, that's going to take me 3 hours every morning.
Nope.
But to
I
hear
know.
you say, 5 minutes even and just do a
Right.
minute of each is very,
Right.
very helpful because I
You
think,
know, yeah,
yeah.
go ahead.
Well, I
Well,
think if we just set our goals too big, then
right.
we can just intimidate ourselves before we even get out of the starting gate, right?
And if you think
So,
about it too, if you know what your day is going to look like the night before, you're going to know how much time you can spend in your miracle morning.
yeah,
So maybe like sometimes mine is 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Other times it's an hour and a half because I love being in visualization or in prayer. And the mornings are beautiful here. So I go out and I love that to start my morning off. So sometimes it'll be as long as that. But it could just look like, especially for busy moms too, or busy people who are working jobs. Maybe it is only 15 minutes.
yeah, I love it.
Uh,
Well, that
Right.
the biting off small chunks really, really helps my brain and again, I've been doing better lately at I love what you said about multitasking because I realized the other morning I was doing just a slow stretch with a guided yoga thing. And I had my journal out in between my legs. So I was doing the same thing. I was journaling while I was stretching.
Yeah, while you're
Just because I
stretching.
had a really busy morning, but for me, it just tends to be momentum. But I love that. I love that I can just create an affirmation about how fantastic I am at my morning routine and
Right.
how it sets my life on a good trajectory. So thank
I,
you for that.
I want to add to that piece because I think that was really brilliant, that answer, Kerrie, about having an affirmation about what you want your morning to look like. Because the fact that the story that you've told yourself since forever is I'm not a morning person. And even if you started off not being, because people do have different cycles of day that they feel better at one time or another, but the minute that we've noticed a certain thing, and then we tell ourselves that for 50 years, I'm not a morning person, I'm not a morning person, I'm not a morning, there is no way you could get up and feel great. The story is the neural pathway is so deeply grooved into your brain because it just keeps getting repeated. So
Right.
it may take, who knows, a year of you having an affirmation where you feel, what would it feel like if I actually woke up in the morning and went, yay, it's time to get up? Like, what would that feel like if it happened? And you can imagine, oh my God, that would be exciting. Like, I've never felt like that before. That would be a new feeling. So you really work at the feeling of what it, as if it's already happened. Have the feeling in your body when you're saying your affirmation. I think that's the absolute key to affirmations. And there's science.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
thank you so much. Any other questions or comments before we sign off tonight? I really appreciate the processing that we get to do at the end of these calls. And Kerrie, you're such a marvelous facilitator. Again, as Nikki said, to just put back to me a skill and habit that I know I have, and to empower me with changing my mindset around doing affirmations is going to be my first thing. So I appreciate that so much. Yeah. And again, Kerrie is just so generous with her wisdom. And Kerrie, I just for myself knew that I needed to revisit this again because I have made a real goal for myself this year to just make self-care number one priority. And so hearing this, I think maybe this is the third time I've heard you talk about Miracle Morning, but it's just so valuable to revisit these things. It's just wisdom. We need to keep reminding ourselves. And I just so
Right.
appreciate your generosity and your grace and
You're
wisdom
welcome.
in all things. So,
Thank you for having me.
yeah.
before we end the call, I just want to remind everybody next Tuesday, we have a tips and tools call that Sandy Tabola and I do together. And the name of that call that this might really get you excited is how to attract action takers to your business. Not just anybody, but action takers. So what a great call tonight, Kerrie and Kristen.
All right.
Woo.
Good.
Fabulous.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good night,
Thanks a lot,
everybody. I
everybody.
appreciate
Hi, thank you,
everyone who
Kerrie.
was
Thank you.
on
Yeah,
with
you're
us tonight.
welcome. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.